Okay, here's a July 2024 for Florida. Since tort wasn't tested, for sure torts this time, number one on the list, and they always mix in ethics. And I see a lot of crossover with contracts as well. So they may even throw contracts in. I think it's going to be mostly torts this time, okay? And then it could be tort and contracts. And then real property next. And then family law next. And then the wild card. And I heard they don't test it anymore, so you could put it here. You could switch evidence and trust. If it's true, the way they worded it on the website, I don't know if I believe that. What they said, it's highly, I forget what how they worded it, but I don't know. Anyways, if you believe them, the way they worded it, that it won't be tested, then down here and put evidence up here. And then secured transactions will be the next one. Okay? Hi. Okay, so I just changed this again. I separated tort and contract so I could give you a specific what the subject's going to be. They may combine it like they did last time because they had that. It was a breach of contract, but then they put the tortious interference thing in there. So they don't usually combine it though, do they? It could give one or the other or both. So con law is actually up there. Oh, maybe not because they just tested it. But you see they tested it 4 times in a row over here. It could very well be on it again. Let me adjust this a little bit. So con law is now on the medium to high, okay? Medium, like the top of the medium, just because it's tested so much. Okay, so going back to torts. So what have they done on torts? So I see here they did a this B call question that says tortious interference. So it's kind of a small thing, but let's see what else they've done in torts. So negligence, vicarious liability, and NIED, okay? I'm naming this out because it turns out that keep track of it easier, what I keep on saying and what I haven't said in a long time. Okay, so let's go to the next torts. So it's crossed over here with contracts. Negligence again, negligence per se. Privacy torts, so that hasn't been tested in a while. Privacy torts look good. Negligence again, hey, privacy torts looks good. Or watch out for that one. It's probably an interference thing, breach of contract, interference, negligence. I'd say the privacy torts look pretty good again. Okay, and then as far as contracts, so last time it was a breach of contract. No, it was a UCC, a 2-carat yellow diamond. So UCC, breach of contracts. A lot of contracts in here. Formation. Oh, and that was common law. So I'd say common law this time. Formation. This is UCC too. Shout out to JD. Appreciate you. I'm going to take extra care in what I'm talking about now because of you. Let's see. Not that I don't normally, but. So UCC, and it's a perfect tender rule. Let's see what this common law one is. So breach, common law. That's what I think. Common law breach. Okay, real property. So they did contracts for the sale of land. Fraud, misrepresentation. Okay, types of deeds, which is like conveyances. Homestead, a lot of homestead stuff here. And mortgages. That looks pretty good. Homestead mortgage. Homestead mortgage. Mortgage again here. Foreclosure. Easements. I would say homestead mortgage easements. Mortgage again. I'd say homestead easements. Homestead mortgage easements. Okay. Family law. That is for the other 3 jurisdictions I've just done, or 2. Yeah, it's a very kind of narrow subject to me. Think about your usual family law stuff. If they test it, it'll be on that. Con law. You know what, JD? I'm gonna go on the family stuff for you. Family law stuff. A lot of people are probably wondering who JD is. But JD is a good guy. Okay, here we go. Anti-modification clause. So modifying child support, dissolution orders, and jurisdiction, right? Child support and alimony, parental rights, children, grandparents' rights, adoption. So I guess adoption, they tested a long time ago, 2018, 6 years ago. Parental and grandparent rights. Oh, whoops. I put it in the wrong for con law. And adoption, maybe? Okay, con law. So we have First Amendment, equal protection, procedural due process, separation of powers, taxing and spending, Commerce Clause, federalism, commandeering, homestead, substantive due rights, procedural due process, sunshine laws, equal protection. So I feel like I haven't seen the sunshine law stuff in a long time. Religion. Okay, so sunshine law, speech, and religion. Okay, so trust. Trust is trust. I don't think I need to, especially since it's like, it's for you, JD. Modification of trust, spendthrift, capacity, alimony stuff. Okay, trust. Spendthrift again. Some spendthrift stuff. Secured transactions. Evidence. Oh, and I just remembered I said something. So they say that the way they word it is that they don't do trust anymore, but read it again and see if it's like a definite thing. Okay. All right. Let me know if you want to talk about it further. Email, reach out in the comments, what have you. But those are my more detailed predictions. Thank you and good luck. It's called Florida Homestead Laws. You could look in and you could find essays on it. And I think they'll do mortgages in easements. They'll do the privacy tort. I think it'll be breach of contract, common law.
Okay.
There was this one family law essay that I saw. It was a while ago, and I think it might come up again. It was the rights of the grandparents. I thought that was pretty interesting, and also adoption. So I think they could test that again as well. And then in constitutional law, which I think is they can test again.
I did want to talk about grandparents' rights and family law.
Yes, please, let's go.
Yeah, so typically a lot of times in grandparents' rights and family law, and with grandparents' rights, they're kind of like in between where they don't have as many rights as the underlying parents. But they typically have more rights than just a normal third party. So it's important to look at the facts that you're given. And if the children have resided with the grandparents for a certain amount of time, then a lot of times the grandparents would have standing to come in to fight for those rights. Another way that the parents could prevent the grandparents from having rights is if both parents disagree with the grandparents having the rights. So the only way that the grandparents could come in is if they can show that the kids have established a residence with them, and typically it's right around 6 months. So grandparents' rights, it's a very hot topic. I could see that coming up, and just know the rights of grandparents, and if there's going to be a dispute between one of the parents or both of the parents as it pertains to the grandparent, and look for where the kids are. And we always want to talk about the best interests of the child. What's going to be the best interest of the child? Is it going to be with staying with the grandparents? Are they able to provide better than the actual parents? And using those facts to discuss that standard. And then as far as adoption is concerned, again, you want to talk about the best interest of the child and look at who's adopting. Is this going to separate families? Is this going to have the child stay in the same school district? And so you want to figure out ways that's going to keep the child grounded. And so that's the main thing with family law. And then you're saying with the Lemon test, you don't think religion will be tested. There's been a change in some of the laws as far as First Amendment and religion. I think that examiners will tend to stay away from the Lemon test and religion right now. I think they're going to more so go to the free speech and dealing with issues of standing, hate speech. And there's so many different areas that can be tested. And what is this content? Is it content neutral? So I think that with con law, there's so many areas that they can test on pertaining to standing, mootness, ripeness, if there's a current case of controversy, and then the type of speech that's being regulated. And then in most con law essays, you'll typically have different groups and different issues that can be brought up. So con law is very layered. You want to discuss tests and know those tests inside and out, but speech is a hot topic right now. Okay. Do you see anything on this list that you want to opine on? I think trust, it's been sporadic. It hasn't been tested a lot. One of the things in just law overall has been the need for estate planning. And so I could see trust hasn't been tested in a while. That's something that could come up. And a lot of people, based on coming out of COVID, have wanted their wills, their estate planning to get updated. And when you look at the state of Florida, all the way from Maine down to Georgia, there are a lot of retirees along on the East Coast that they own property down in the state of Florida where it does involve a lot of retirees. And so I believe that understanding trust and what creditors can and can't get, especially know the different ways that you can use the spendthrift clause to prevent creditors from accessing a beneficiary's interest and trust. So I think that's important because it does correlate to some of those hot topics in law today.
Yes. Okay. Good. I guess that's it. I really want to thank you so much, Walt, for your time. And
you guys feel free to leave a comment and we'll try to reach out and answer any questions you can, or if there's a topic that you may want some clarification on, we'd be willing to help.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Walt. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.